J Drone here. This is the Tarantula 1505, and if you could see, we kind of had a crack in the front. Dropped this for about 300 feet, and it fell, and I had extra weight on it from an external battery, and also I was testing the altitude, so I had my meter for that on it. So when it fell, it had extra weight and cracked the body a little bit. I did tape it and also glue it, so it should be fine. Gonna connect the external battery here. We're connected. This is an 800 mAh battery. I don't know if this is too much weight for this. I was using a 500 mAh, which was an upgrade, and we pulled a 12-minute flight. I'm gonna see what type of flight we get from this 800 mAh. And again, you always want to be on a flat surface. I don't have landing gear, so Little Pebbles was making this not flat, so I kind of just made that flat. And you hear the beep, we're binded. And those beeps you just heard were the speed settings. 1 beep for your first and 2 for your second speed setting. Well, the 800 mAh battery seems to be doing just fine as far as lift on this. It does seem a little bit slower, but it's flying here. And the yaw rate's still incredibly fast. Today's March 7th, 2016. It's 60 degrees out. It's about a 5 to 6 mile an hour wind. Nothing too crazy. As you can see, this likes to fly. Again, because of the lightweight of this, which it weighs right around 1/10 of a pound with that battery on it. Maybe it's pushing 0.15 of a pound. It's very lightweight and very fast. It makes it one of my favorite quadcopters. It doesn't have a camera on it. Look at that yaw rate. Spinning is ridiculous. And the sun's kind of going down, so you can see the orientation lights underneath, which red is your forward and green is your back. But yeah, this is one of my favorite quadcopters fly just because of the sheer speed of this thing. Doesn't have a cam on it, but I did show in previous videos how to hook a 808 keychain cam to it, and I had very light footage from the 808 keychain cam because I was flying it in way too windy conditions and it actually got stuck in a tree. I will reattach that cam to this and show you what type of video quality that's getting. It's a very cheap cam. It's about the size of a key fob, and it's very simple to put on any drone, but specifically this one, it's a very lightweight drone, didn't come with a cam, and doesn't have an option to, or it does, it has an option to hook a 3-prong cam to it. So you could put a cam on this, but I think we'll just stick with the 808. Look at that yaw rate. And again, if you're flying really high, I don't suggest you doing that extreme spin because you're liable to get disorientated. And with the sun setting, I can see these lights pretty good. So when I stop, I can see where the red is and get that facing the direction that I want it to. That way I can go forward, backward, and stay completely orientated with this. I've lost this drone. It's so cool. Probably lost this drone 2 or 3 times. The last time I probably had it, not sure how high the altitude test said. I think it was above 300 feet or close to 300 feet, and it was about 200 to 300 feet away from me, and the wind took it another 300 feet. And it actually landed on somebody's lower roof, and with the added weight, it did land so I could take off from the roof, but with the added weight, it added pressure on the body, and I think that's why one of the arms cracked. But as you can see, it's flying just fine right now. I used super glue to reattach it, let it sit for days, and then packaging tape just to go around it lightly, and that's what's also holding the external battery, is packaging tape. It's a very nice flyer. If you're looking for speed, agility, long times, go with this. I mean, even your standard battery on this, I think I was pushing anywhere from like 6 to 8 minutes. And upgrading the battery, 500 mAh, I was pushing 12 minutes. I'm unsure what this 800 mAh is going to do because it is increased weight. I think it increased in time, but it might not. Because again, the higher mAh you go, the thicker the batteries are, and you're going to start weighing the quadcopter down. But this seems to be flying fine. So we'll see what happens here. Since I've been flying 60 degrees, this is the nicest weather I've had. Despite the 5-mile-an-hour wind, 6-mile-an-hour wind, can't beat this. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, loving it. And this has your basic features. Up, down, left, right. You have your 6-axis control. You have your flip functions. And as I said, it does have a 3-prong camera connector to the bottom. If you did want to put a camera on it, it would connect a 3-wired one, which a lot of them are. Some of them are 4. You don't see that too often. Most of them are 3-prong. And as you can see here, we've encountered a off-road vehicle, or somebody that decided to take their vehicle off-road. That doesn't quite look like that much of a off-road vehicle. But then again, I've had my Impala out here, so you don't really have to have something too crazy to get back a little ways. And speed test. Yeah, it's crazy. Right now we're pushing 7.5 minutes, which I'm going to say maybe that's around 7 minutes, 6 minutes and 50 seconds with our setup. I'm not sure how long the setup took. Flips very nicely. There's no hesitation in flips and barrel rolls. Most quadcopters, without modding the battery and putting a higher mAh, they're only getting around your 5.5 to 7.5 minute mark, and we're past that. On this standard battery, I was past it. That's what inclined me to extend flight time because of how much I enjoyed flying this. I enjoy quadcopters that have cameras on them. That was actually my first draw to flying these quadcopters, is taking aerial photography. But this opened up a whole new venture, a whole new world as far as flying quadcopters for me goes. Because this is very agile, very quick, as I keep repeating. And look at that yaw rate. Spins ridiculously. Literally spins out of control, where you have to readjust your eyes once it stops and figure out what direction it needs to be to get it back to you. And again, the sun's setting, so I'm able to see those orientation lights. At peak noon, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, those lights aren't that easy to see. And with that yaw, when you spin it crazy, if you're about as high as I am now, there's very little chance that you're going to be able to get reorientated. And that's how I lost it the several times that I did. Unfortunately, I was able to find it. And if you do lose a quadcopter, simple rule of thumb, follow it until it descends, drop your throttle, follow it till it descends, and then you want to walk a straight line. Walk a straight line to however far you think it could have went, and if you don't find it, walk further. I've had success on all of my search missions. Look at that yaw rate. Love it. All of my search missions, I've had success fall on that rule of thumb, minus one of them because I didn't walk far enough. I lost one of my drones for a week and had to have my uncle come out and refly another drone the same way, and he figured the altitude was much higher than I had thought and recalculated, and we found it shortly thereafter. So again, if drone gets out of your control, drop throttle, keep your eye on it, walk a straight line. There's very good possibility you're going to find it. And when you have this in the highest speed mode, your right stick is very responsive. If you press all the way up on it, it's dive bombing. If you press all the way back, it's essentially going to dive bomb but to the back, so your altitude's going to drop considerably. If you lightly push on it, the nose is going to tip down just lightly and you will go forward. But if you press all the way down, you are going to go forward, but you're going to go forward and down. You're going to lose your altitude very quick. Right now we're at the 11-minute mark, and again, take time for your setup and whatnot, so we're probably pushing 10.5 minutes right now. And no, batteries aren't, it's not flashing. I'm not quite sure why that went down here. Your orientation lights will flash when the battery goes, and that was a toss-up. You can throw this in the air and then throttle up. You don't have to be on the ground once you have it calibrated. Once your controller's binded to this quadcopter, you could grab it, throw it in the air, and take off. I can't wait for zero wind because I'd like to get a max altitude test on this, or at least until I visually almost lose it altitude test. I'm not doing max altitude tests on anything just because I don't want to lose the quadcopter. I'll take it up until it turns into a little speck, and then I'll bring it down to get the altitude, because I also don't want to lose my my tool that I measure the altitude with. And we're blinking. There's your orientation lights blink, that's letting you know the battery's just about done. And we're at 12 minutes and 45 seconds, so yeah, your 800 mAh is a bit heavy of a battery. So I'd say stick with a 500. I will try 650, maybe that's light enough. This is J Drone. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a wonderful day.